My wife said, "I'm suing you for alimony. I deserve $10K a month for my emotional distress." I smiled. That's fair. Then my lawyer showed the judge the 300 hours of hidden cam footage of her distress with her personal trainer. The judge laughed. I, 39, male, am what you'd call a steady guy. I have a good job in logistics. I pay my mortgage on time. I remember birthdays. My wife, Bianca, 36, used to say my steadiness was grounding. For the last year, grounding apparently became boring. It started about 8 months ago. Bianca got really into wellness, not just, hey, let's eat a salad, but a full-blown $500 a month in supplements, crystal on the nightstand. My aura is murky lifestyle change. I supported it. If it made her happy, great. The centerpiece of this new life was Kieran, 28, her personal trainer. Kieran wasn't just a trainer. He was a holistic life guide. He had perfect teeth, tribal tattoos, and an endless supply of inspirational quotes. Suddenly, everything in our life was viewed through the lens of Kieran. Kieran says my macros are off. That's why I'm so irritable. Kieran thinks you're holding on to stagnant energy. He says your energy is stagnant, Alex. Kieran is teaching me to find my inner warrior. You've lost your warrior, Alex. Apparently, I was a stagnant, warriorless void. 3 months ago, she moved into the guest room. I just need my own space to align my chakras, she said. Your snoring is blocking my spiritual growth. I was hurt, but I'm not a monster. Okay, honey, whatever you need. But it felt weird. The house felt different. Then, 2 months ago, I came home from work early. My boss let us out at 3 p.m. after we landed a big contract. I walked in the door. The house was quiet, but it smelled different. It smelled like sandalwood and pine, a very specific, expensive cologne, the kind Kieran shilled on his Instagram. Bianca came downstairs flustered, pulling her silk robe tight. Alex, you're home. I wasn't expecting you. Yeah, got off early. What's that smell? She flushed. Oh, Jenna stopped by. She must have been testing a new perfume. You know Jenna. I knew Jenna. Jenna smelled like vanilla and cigarettes. This was a lie, a bad one. In that moment, the steady guy in me went quiet, and a much colder, more methodical guy took over. I wasn't going to have a screaming match. I wasn't going to accuse. I was going to get facts. I'm in logistics. I know how to manage a supply chain. I know how to track assets. That weekend, while she was at a weekend warrior goddess retreat with Kieran, I assumed, I upgraded our home security. I bought 3 very small, very high-def video-only nanny cams. This is my house. I pay the mortgage. It is perfectly legal in my state to record video in the common areas of my own home. One went in the living room, tucked inside a hideous metal sculpture Bianca demanded I buy last year, $12,200 for a piece of bent rebar. One went in the kitchen, aimed at the island. One went on the bookshelf by the stairs, aimed at the front door. I set them to record on motion, and I waited. It took exactly 1 day. Monday, I checked the footage when I got home from work. She got home at 3 p.m. Kieran arrived at 3:15 p.m. At 3:17 p.m., they were not training. They were on my kitchen island, the one I just had installed. At 3:45 p.m., they were on my living room couch. He left at 5 p.m. She showered, changed, and was downstairs making a kale smoothie when I got home at 5:30 p.m., complaining about how drained she was. I didn't say a word. I just backed up the footage to a secure hard drive. I did this every single day for 2 months. I have footage of them in the morning after I left for my early start. I have footage of them in the afternoon. I have footage of them using my good whiskey to toast to their new life. By my count, I have just over 300 hours of her spiritual growth. I watched my marriage die in 1080p. The whole time I was steady, Alex. I was grounding. How was your day, honey? Oh, exhausting. Kieran really pushed me. My emotional distress is just so high right now. He says I need to release it. I just nodded. That's rough, babe. Last week, she finally sat me down. She had her sad but strong face on. Alex, she said, her voice dripping with fake regret. I can't live like this anymore. I'm suffocating. I've found my warrior and she needs to be free. What are you saying, Bianca? I'm saying I want a divorce. I'm moving in with Jenna. I nodded. I understand. She looked disappointed, like she wanted a fight. That's it? I understand. You've made your decision. I respect it. I'll start looking for a lawyer. Good, she snapped. I've already retained one. Of course she had. Yesterday, I got the first letter from her attorney. It was ambitious. She was claiming the marriage ended due to my emotional neglect, financial control, and persistent psychological abuse. The words just jumped off the page. Me controlling, me abusive. The letter stated that due to her profound emotional distress, she was unable to work and would be seeking significant spousal support to maintain the lifestyle to which she had become accustomed. I just started to laugh. I couldn't help it. I called my lawyer, a shark named Dave that a colleague recommended. Dave, I said, we've got a situation, and I've got a hard drive. Update 1. It's been about 5 weeks since Bianca set herself free. The legal battle is in full swing, and the entitlement is breathtaking. First, let's talk about the cops. 3 weeks ago, on a Saturday, I'm trying to just watch a baseball game, and there's a hammering on my door. I open it to 2 police officers, one older, tired-looking guy, Officer Miguel, and a rookie. Miguel, sir, are you Alex, my last name? Yes, officer, is there a problem? We received a call from a Miss Bianca. She stated you have locked her out of her home and are illegally withholding her personal property. Bianca is standing on the sidewalk, dabbing her eyes. Jenna, her friend, is rubbing her back. The distressed victim performance. I just sighed. Officers, this is my house. I am the sole owner on the mortgage. Bianca is my soon-to-be ex-wife. She moved out of her own free will 3 weeks ago. She's no longer a resident. She's lying! He kicked me out! He's hiding my mother's jewelry! It's in that house! Miguel looks at me. Sir, this is a domestic issue. If she's a resident, you can't just lock her out. She is not a resident, I said. She moved out. And as for her mother's jewelry, I stepped aside, pointing to my own Ring doorbell camera. That camera records everyone who comes and goes. Would you like to see the footage from 3 weeks ago? The footage of her and her friend Jenna making 6 trips to her car, carrying 3 suitcases, and oh look, that specific blue jewelry box she's talking about. Officer Miguel's face went flat. He was so done. He walked over to Bianca. I couldn't hear it all, but I heard, "Ma'am, this is a civil matter and do not call 911 for this again." She shrieked, but they left. Score 1 for my cameras. Next, the property fight. Bianca's lawyer sent a letter demanding she be allowed to retrieve her remaining property. I had my lawyer, Dave, coordinate. She was allowed 1 hour with a neutral third party, a grim-looking paralegal supervising. Bianca showed up with Kieran, the sheer unmitigated gall, bringing her affair partner to my house to move her stuff. Kieran stood in the foyer, arms crossed, trying to look imposing in his $200 athleisure wear. Just get your stuff, Bianca, I said, not even looking at him. She went straight to the living room. She pointed at the hideous metal sculpture, the one with my camera in it. Bianca, I'm taking this. Me, what, the sculpture? It's the only thing of value you ever bought me. It represents my pain. I'm taking it. She needs it for her healing space, bro, Kieran added. I almost fainted from the irony. She wanted to take the evidence. I had, of course, already pulled all the SD cards in the hard drive. The camera itself was just a little lens and a hollow bar. I smiled, a big genuine smile. You know what, Bianca? You're right, you should have it. Take it, please. She looked suspicious, but her greed won out. Kieran grunted and hauled the $200 piece of junk out the door. Be careful with it. It's delicate. He shot me a dirty look. I've never been happier to see $200 walk out my door. Now the money. We had our first mediation session last week. This is where the title of my post comes from. It was me, Dave, Bianca, and her weasel of a lawyer, Mr. Finch. My client is suffering. The trauma of this barren marriage has left her unable to secure employment. She has anxiety. She has panic attacks. He was just a shell. It was like living with a ghost. The emotional distress, it was constant. We are asking for $10,000 a month in temporary alimony plus $20,000 immediately to cover her moving expenses and therapeutic costs. $10,000. It's the minimum she needs to begin her healing journey. Bianca looked right at me, eyes cold. I deserve it. I deserve to be compensated for what you put me through. I deserve $10,000 a month for my emotional distress. This was it, the moment. I looked at Dave. He gave me a tiny nod. I turned to Bianca. I smiled. You know what, Bianca? You're right. That's fair. You should get exactly what you deserve. Bianca's face lit up. Smug. She thought I was folding. Finch looked confused. Dave just checked his watch. So we're done here, right? Mediation failed. But you agreed. No, Dave said calmly. My client said she deserves it. He didn't say he was going to pay it. We reject your offer. We'll see you at the temporary support hearing. We are eagerly looking forward to it. The color drained from Bianca's face. We walked out. She's bringing the sculpture to her new apartment, I told Dave in the elevator. You're kidding. Nope, it's her healing statue. Dave actually laughed. Oh, this is too good. The judge is going to love this. The hearing is in 2 weeks. She has no idea what's about to hit her. She thinks I'm a stagnant, warriorless pushover. She forgot what I do for a living. I track, I document, I deliver. And I'm about to deliver a world of hurt. Final update. It's over. The hearing was yesterday. I've been trying to process it. I didn't sleep much last night, but it wasn't from anxiety. It was adrenaline. We were in family court for the motion for temporary spousal support. It wasn't a full trial, just a hearing in front of a judge. Our judge was Judge Harriet Rowe, a woman in her 60s who looked like she'd seen every lie ever told. Bianca was on the stand first. Her lawyer, Finch, led her through this WGA-worthy script. She was crying, real tears this time, tears of self-pity. And he was just empty. He'd come home, not even look at me. He was cold and controlling. He made me feel like I was nothing. And this emotional abuse, how did it affect you? Finch asked. I was a wreck. I couldn't sleep. I lost weight. I was terrified of him. I was a prisoner in my own home. The distress was, it's unbearable. I'm broken. She was good. I'll give her that. She was believable. I saw Judge Rowe give me a very stern look. And this $10,000 a month, why do you need that? For therapy. For my wellness, to find a safe place to live where I can heal. I can't work. I'm too damaged, she finished. Finch sat down looking like he'd just won an Oscar. Mr. Last Name's counsel, your response? My lawyer, Dave, stood up. He was holding a sleek black 4 TB hard drive. Your Honor, we'd like to respond. We agree that Miss Last Name's testimony is compelling. However, it is also in its entirety a fabrication. My client was not cold and distant until he had a very good reason to be. Objection, vague, argumentative, Finch interjected. Sustained, get to the point, Mr. Dave continued. My point, Your Honor, is that the emotional distress Miss Last Name claims, her being a broken prisoner in her own home, the truth is she was quite entertained. We have evidence to this effect. He placed the hard drive on the table. This drive contains over 300 hours of video-only surveillance. Your Honor, it was captured by security cameras with no audio in the common areas of my client's home, the home he solely owns, during the exact period she claims she was suffering this unbearable distress. We have prepared a 5-minute compilation of her suffering. Bianca's face went from pale to chalk. She was staring at the hard drive like it was a bomb. Objection, Your Honor, Finch barked. This is illegal. It's a violation of privacy. It's spousal abuse. It is perfectly legal in this state, Dave replied, to record video without audio in the common areas of one's own property. No laws were broken, Your Honor, unless Miss Last Name would like to claim she had a reasonable expectation of privacy on my client's kitchen counter. Judge Rowe's eyes narrowed. I will review the footage in my chambers. We would prefer to play it here, Your Honor. It directly pertains to the testimony just given. Fine. The courtroom will be sealed. Bailiff, clear the gallery. This is for the court's eyes only. They cleared the room. It was just us, the judge, and the court staff. Dave plugged the drive into the courtroom's AV system. This first clip, Dave narrated, is from March 12th, the day after my client allegedly flew into a rage over a credit card bill. The footage appeared on the big monitors. It was from the kitchen camera. Bianca was not distressed. She was in lingerie, laughing as Kieran hoisted her onto the kitchen island. She was feeding him grapes. Bianca's lawyer just sank into his chair. Next clip, Dave said. March 19th. She testified she was unable to eat for days after my client refused to speak to her. Footage from the living room cam. Bianca and Kieran on the couch, eating my leftover lasagna with their hands. And then, well, next clip, April 2nd, the day she claimed she was too depressed to get out of bed. Footage from the front door cam. Kieran arriving. Bianca sprinting down the stairs and jumping into his arms, wrapping her legs around him. It went on for 5 minutes. A montage of her distress, her laughing, her dancing, her everything. Dave stopped the video. The courtroom was silent. Bianca was bright red, vibrating with rage. Judge Rowe took off her glasses. She rubbed the bridge of her nose. She looked at Bianca, and then she laughed. It wasn't a little chuckle. It was a full, "Are you kidding me?" laugh. "Ma'am," she said, "you testified under oath that you were broken. You said you were a prisoner. You said you were terrified." I was. He drove me to it," Bianca sputtered. "Drove you to what? Perjury?" "Ma'am, this footage shows you having what appears to be a very good time. The only distress I see here is the distress you're in right now, having been caught in a blatant material lie to this court." She turned to Finch. "Counselor, your client just committed perjury. Her entire claim for support is based on emotional distress that this video thoroughly, and I must say graphically, disproves. Are you sure you want to proceed with this motion?" Finch looked like he was going to be sick. "Your Honor, we withdraw the motion for temporary support." "You do more than that," Judge Rowe said. "Motion for temporary alimony is denied with prejudice. I am ordering your client, Miss Last Name, to pay Mr. Last Name's legal fees for this hearing. This was a frivolous bad faith filing based on a complete fabrication. We are done here." She banged the gavel. Bianca exploded. "You!" she screamed, pointing at me. "You did this! You spied on me! You're a sick freak!" The bailiff was already moving. "Ma'am, you need to leave." She started sobbing as Finch dragged her out of the courtroom, whispering furiously, "You told me he was the abuser. You didn't tell me there were movies." I walked out a free man. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. It was a bloodbath for her. Because she committed perjury, she lost all leverage. The house, we had to sell it. It was marital property. But because her bad faith was so clearly established, the judge awarded me 70% of the equity and her 30%. Alimony, $0. The judge ruled she was clearly capable of gainful employment, as evidenced by her strenuous afternoon activities. Legal fees. She was ordered to pay 50% of my total legal fees for the entire divorce, citing her perjury and bad faith negotiations. The sculpture, oh, this is the best part. Her lawyer, in a desperate attempt to get something, claimed that the $1,200 sculpture was an asset and rightfully hers. Dave agreed instantly. "We insist she keep it." I heard from Jenna, who apparently is not a fan of Kieran, and reached out to apologize to me. What happened next? Bianca's share of the house equity was almost completely wiped out by what she owed me and her own lawyer. Kieran, seeing his warrior goddess was now broke, found his own stagnant energy, and dumped her. She had to move back in with her parents into her childhood bedroom. And yes, she took the sculpture with her. I hope she puts it right across from her bed so every morning she wakes up and sees the $1,200 mistake that cost her $200,000. Me, I'm good. I bought a condo downtown. It's clean. It smells like nothing. It's peaceful. It cost me a marriage to see the truth, but watching that judge laugh, yeah, that was worth it.